Hello. Begin. What are the key benefits the ERP software must have? One is save time. Uh, Now, this objective is pretty obvious, but it is a thought needs to be given at the selection stage itself, so that you can save time on you know preparing sales invoices and many other things. So basically, automating the process is one of the way you will save time. Receiving data with useful information on time. This is also quite self-explanatory. The data which we receive from the ERP software should be useful information. It should not be such that we are inundated with data, but then most of it is just not very useful. So, the then so basically the data which we should use. The report generation should be transparent and uh, accurate and credible. This credible is also very important because you should have evaluated the software quite well so that you know that the report which has come out is credible. You should not feel कि अरे ये तो data मिल गया है लेकिन but then it is like there could be mistakes or increase in productivity. This is also quite self-explanatory and it includes both blue collar and white collar workers. ERP checklist continued. The cost factor. The price of the software is not the only expense. This is an important point one needs to take into consideration. There are additional costs like training costs, time involved in making changes to the business process to use the software, which you could call it the cost of customization, the cost for extra features, the cost required to make changes in the hardware to be able to run the software, annual maintenance charged by the software vendor, cost of the consultant required to in- integrate and implement the use of the software. This is uh, this is also a key requirement in many of the business processes. Could be because see, uh, this is a software. It is not a product. Okay, very well defined. You got a machine and then it will give you the output as specified by the machine. Here, many elements are there, and plus it is also involves a lot of human interaction. So, a consultant who, who is like your partner in seeing that the software investment which the company is going to has made or is going to make is going to be beneficial. This is also very key. The ERP software compatible with tax law of the country. In India, we have GST, tax deducted at source, and so on. for contract tax. The capability of software to be able to export and import files. For example, if the invoice is prepared in the software's PDF file, whether it is possible to email directly. All these features are necessary because it is it becomes very laborious if you have to there is no export import facility, then you to be able to send the data to uh, other external agencies or external customers or even to other departments. So this point one should very definitely look into it. The technical skills needed to use the software. Is it available with SAR? If it is not, is it possible to acquire reasonable cost and time frame? There are many softwares which are very good, but then they require higher level of technical skills, which the company may not have. And as such, implementation is a continuous process. So suppose maybe using you install the software, but then the technical skills required to use the software are not there, then the software it will not be effective. Is the software vendor going to provide support? And does it have the infrastructure and capability to do so? This is also a very important point one we has to consider. Now, support definition is a very uh, uh, big what we call thing, and it has to be defined, and then there are, it has to be in the contract. It must be worded properly. If your premise is too far from the software office, then there will be limitations to support, and one must consider that. If the suppose if you are in one state and your vendor is in some 400, 500 miles away, so basically to call that vendor to your place is going to be very costly. So you may only have an online support available. Now, many times this may not be an issue, but sometimes it may be. So this point should be considered. Security, external and internal. This point is quite important, crucial. One must check out the password policies, data encryption, hacking vulnerability, and other issues. Hacking means basically your IT system uh, being eavesdropped by someone else. Means someone whom you do not want to share the data, but then he uses processes which is physically maybe steals your data or even is able to read the data, and then it could there could be your your business intelligence and all could be compromised. Most probably point specific to company, but key things to ask for each and every point what we need and what the software has. Now, all these, beside all this, there are certain issues which are company specific, and they can be resolved if it is pointed out beforehand. Otherwise, what may happen is after everything installation is done, and then there is one company specific requirement which was not brought into the picture early on. Then when it comes up, it's like very challenging to address it. And then that would not be a good thing. The three types of software which are either cloud-based or on-premises on LAN. LAN stands for local area network. So basically, you can read all this. Now the biggest players have software which which can be used but practically by everybody because they have lot of features. So that's somebody or the other can there is something for everything, everybody. And I have also explained the logic to why they are. Then there are industry specific ERP. So there could be ERP, hotel management, real estate, shops, department stores, particular manufacturing process, and others. So you don't let it there. One thing is there is sometimes the ERP software is very industry specific, but the vendor may not state it in its literature that it is because it may feel they may not they will lose the business from other industries. But you have to evaluate it whether this limitation is manageable. Specifically designed for SMEs. Well, previously ERP was like only big players used to be able to afford it. Now it is even smaller companies are able to afford it because they become cloud based and the advances in hardware and software it is like the cost is reduced. But sometimes the softwares are so limited. They may be within the budget, but then they may be so limited that just a small growth or expansion in your business and the software is not able to cope up with. ERP comparison chart. Basically, Oracle NetSuite, SAP, SAP P1, SAP HANA, Microsoft Dynamics. These these are the leading players, international leading players. In India, we also have Tally here. All this mostly plans are customized because they are very big platforms. So buying the whole platform is not viable. So they are definitely customized by the company. All business, all businesses, and the SAP B1 is a is a it is a offering from SAP designed for medium enterprise, small and medium businesses. So you have accounting and finance in the full plan, all in one support. Now this is key. Here, what is it saying? Local SAP partner. So now these are so big companies, they can't, they are not able to provide support individually, but they will be having a partner who will be near to your place geographically, and they should be able to provide support. So if you are buying one of the big software, the key thing is also consider your local uh, provider, cloud based. Yeah, so most of them are cloud based, possible at least. Demo available, demo is available, and these are the international websites. you can also find out India-based websites. ERP software comparison table. Now these are industry specific. So I've taken this from one book, ERP guide, which is the author is American based, Mr. Giancarlo Jimenez. So these are there. In India, we do have industry specific softwares. Cost range, plan, focus, finance, accounting. All this is yes. So basically, ERP is mostly finance and accounting is already included in the ERP software. Sometimes CRM is also included. In cloud-based, cloud is basically internet-based. This they give an option, or sometimes they are by default cloud-based. Demo available. These are the links. SME focused ERP. Info, Odoo, Sage, Interact, Account, ERP, QuickBooks, ERP Next, Acumatica, Epicor. Cost range, plans, focus, finance and accounting, all in one, support, cloud-based, demo available, link. How one can increase the return on ERP investment? This is one of the important questions one should ask. So first of all, why first you must be clear on why you wanted ERP in first place. Check out if the procedure you wish to be automated actually being automated through the use of software. Ask the people using software, is it saving their time? Ah, see, now increasing the return on investment is not an automatic process. So the owner or senior management must ask the team members who are actually involved in making entries and using the software whether their timing is they're saving their time. Ask the team the limitation of software, address them. If there are certain limitations, they can be addressed by maybe few operations need to be done more, but then they should be at least addressed. Now, most of the time, the limitation is addressed, but it could happen if the limitation is very severe and you cannot address them. Right? So, at the time of selection itself, one should look from this angle of what would be the limitations of the software if one buys them and implements it. Share with your goals and which reports of information. ERP should be bought with the goal. So, could be like goal could be reducing the time in preparing the sales invoice, reducing the time in doing bank reconciliation, and so on and so forth. All these goals should be set beforehand. ERP is actually a decision-making process tool. So uh, that aspect should definitely be considered. Whether the decision-making capability process is smoothed by buying the ERP software. There is one very good book by HBR on decision making, Harvard Business Review. you can check it out. Request your team how to learn how to use the ERP and show you the information you need by an approving. So should uh, the team should be informed that you take the learning of the ERP software seriously. Otherwise, what will happen is okay, the vendor will give training on how to use the software. Then later on, at the time of implementation, uh, the team members who are involved may not know. So here I have mentioned purchasing installs are just the beginning. There's a lot of teamwork involved, and you may need to appoint the ERP project manager for some time so that all the concerned people are making entries on time in the software in the correct way so that one can get value from the ERP investment. These are our contact details. So if you feel okay, uh, after purchasing the software and getting the training, you require some support, then you can appoint a project ERP project manager. And after a few months, when the systems and everything are in process, then that ERP project manager can reduce its time on the project, or maybe not needed also. But that decision the management should take uh, either at the time of buying the software, that is the best, but if not, immediately after buying the software. Steps to be taken to get accurate information. Now you can read this. Actually, in accurate information can be done in shortest period. It is not necessary you require a long period to get accurate information, because what is required is diligence and consistency of regularly making the uh, what do you call making the entries and analyzing. Here the example of a bank statement is given. So bank statement, the statement is received immediately in the first week for the previous month ended, or it could be even weekly. You get the statements. Now so it is online, so you will not wait for the one whole month. You can get statements week by week also. So immediately enter it, because it's like sometimes there is expenditure, but we forget to put a proper heading or something. But since the event is recent, you can immediately uh, put a proper heading and enter it. If it is done say after 1 month, 2 months, then you will realize yes, then you get sometimes the money from the customer, but then that you don't know which customer you. But so if it is a recent event, you can call the customer and find out or whatever. So and clear the suspense. Other thing one was ERP is as such objective is that all the monetary aspects of the business are recorded in one platform. So the other thing, so you should, as far as possible, you should make all entries in the ERP. rather than a separate listing. At the most, you could segregate the CRM department, which of course is also linked with the ERP, so that that sales process can be separated, but rest of the things have to be integrated. So otherwise, what will happen is production data is entered in one software, then it needs all that data needs to be inputted into the inventory data and manually, and then that would, you know, make the whole process complex and time consuming. Sales, register your sales on daily basis. So that because sales is a where while budgeting, the main figure which we assume is the independent variable is sales. So you also come to know whether you are on track. Pay only once in a week to all suppliers, because if you pay daily, ad hoc, every time the supplier comes, then the time wasted in verifying whether about the supplier is not and frequent. Here you could allocate one day, say maybe Saturday or any other day, where this work is given priority and it is finished. This is crucial, setting regular meetings for analyzing all the important accounts. So when you have decided that these are the accounts which you will follow regularly, then meeting should be done. And